The internet is in absolute chaos tonight because what was supposed to be a quiet, healing vacation has turned into one of the biggest love and hip-hop shockers of the entire year. Fans are stunned, jaws have dropped, and social media has not stopped spinning since Jasmine Washington posted a late-night message that sent the whole fanbase into meltdown. Nobody expected her to speak. Nobody expected her to clear her throat after months of silence. And absolutely nobody expected her to say what she finally admitted, that Kirk Frost showed up. Uninvited, unexpected, and according to Jasmine, completely out of control. Within minutes, screenshots were everywhere, reaction videos were exploding, and people were demanding answers. What was Kirk doing there? Why did he show up on a trip that Jasmine took specifically to escape the drama? And most importantly, where was Rashida when all this went down? According to insiders, the moment Jasmine pressed post, the Frost family group chat blew up like a ticking bomb. People close to the situation claim Rashida had no idea what was about to surface. In fact, one source says she was literally on her way to a spa appointment when her phone started vibrating nonstop. The moment she opened the messages and read Jasmine's words, Rashida reportedly froze in the doorway, dropped her sunglasses, and whispered, "Please, not again." Fans describe the moment as heartbreaking because while the world sees Rashida as strong, polished, and always in control, those close to her claim that this revelation hit her deeper than anyone realizes. But this isn't just a simple case of a man showing up where he shouldn't be. No, Jasmine's message hinted at something much darker, something she had been holding in for months. Something she didn't want to talk about but could no longer keep hidden. She wrote that Kirk didn't just arrive, he arrived with emotions boiling over, with unfinished conversations, and with a truth that he said couldn't wait anymore. The second that line went viral, everyone lost their minds. What truth? What conversation? What could Kirk possibly need to say so urgently that he tracked Jasmine down to another state, on a trip meant to give her peace? Fans are already calling this the vacation shocker of the decade, and honestly, they're not exaggerating. Because sources on the island have come forward claiming they saw Kirk and Jasmine having a heated exchange near the beach, with Kirk raising his voice and Jasmine looking terrified. Others claim he showed up earlier than Jasmine admitted, staying at a hotel just minutes away and watching her from a distance before confronting her. And then there's the bombshell rumor, the one trending everywhere, that Rashida collapsed in tears after hearing what happened, breaking down in front of her closest friends and saying she didn't know how much more she could take. And tonight, for the first time, we're diving into the full truth behind that shocking vacation moment, why Kirk went, what Jasmine revealed, and how Rashida truly reacted when everything came crashing down. As the night deepened and the waves crashed against the shore, more details began to unfold about what really happened on Jasmine's so-called healing vacation. People close to her say she had booked the trip weeks ago, quietly, without telling anyone except one close friend. She wanted silence. She wanted distance. She wanted, for once in her life, to breathe without feeling the weight of Atlanta's rumors choking her. According to an insider, Jasmine had packed nothing but a few outfits, some journals, and a promise she made to herself. "I'm not letting Kirk ruin me again." She believed that by leaving the city, she could leave the memories behind too. But trouble, as always, seemed to follow her. It started on the second day of her trip when Jasmine noticed something strange. A familiar black SUV parked far down the road near the resort entrance. At first, she brushed it off. Tourists rent cars all the time. But then she saw it again the next morning. Same car, same angle, same tinted windows. It was only when she walked toward the beach and heard someone cough, that same low, tense cough she had heard 100 times during arguments with Kirk, that her heart dropped straight to her stomach. She didn't want to believe it. She didn't want to turn around. But curiosity and fear pulled her. She turned her head just slightly, and that's when she saw the silhouette. Broad shoulders. The way he leaned against the car. The slow turn of his head. Kirk Frost. Jasmine said she felt the world collapse around her in that moment. This was not supposed to happen. She had not invited him. She had not spoken to him in weeks. She had not hinted, not once, that she wanted any kind of reunion. So why was he there? Why follow her all the way to another state? Why now, when she'd finally found enough courage to put boundaries between them? But what Jasmine didn't know yet was that Kirk had already been on the island for 2 days. Insiders claim he had checked into a hotel just 10 minutes away from her resort. He had allegedly told the staff he was waiting for business partners, but he avoided the lobby, stayed in his room, and kept watching the resort from a distance as if waiting for the perfect moment to make his move. According to one hotel worker who recognized him from TV, Kirk looked stressed, pacing the hallway, muttering things like, She has to hear me out, and I can't let this go on. Nobody had any idea who he was talking about until Jasmine's post revealed everything. The confrontation happened late afternoon. Jasmine had gone down to the beach with a book in her hand, her feet sinking into the warm sand as she tried to let the wind calm her nerves. She thought maybe she imagined seeing Kirk earlier. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe the vacation was finally forcing her body to slow down and her mind was playing tricks. But when she sat near the shoreline, she felt a shadow fall across her shoulder. She didn't look up. She didn't have to. The air shifted. The tension became alive. And then she heard his voice, low, heavy, trembling. Jasmine, we need to talk. Her heart stopped. She whispered, Kirk, what are you doing here? But he ignored the question and sat beside her, his hands shaking, his eyes red like he hadn't slept in days. Several people on the beach noticed the shift immediately. One witness said, you could tell something was wrong. Jasmine looked like she wanted to run. Kirk's first words were shocking enough. I can't keep living like this, he said. I can't keep lying. I can't keep pretending everything is fine. Jasmine, stunned, whispered, fine? Kirk, you ruined everything. What truth do you think I want from you now? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he buried his face in his hands. Jasmine later told a friend she had never seen him look so broken, not even during the DNA test fiasco. This was different. This felt like confession energy, dangerous, heavy, irreversible. And then he said it. I told Rashida I was coming here. Those words hit Jasmine like a bucket of ice water. She stood up instantly. What? Why would you do that? Do you know how this looks? Do you know how much you're hurting her? Kirk got up too, grabbing her wrist gently but desperately. Because she needs to know the truth. She needs to hear it from me. I can't let her find out from someone else. I can't let this blow up without me explaining. Jasmine pulled her hand away and stepped back, her voice trembling. Explain what, Kirk? What exactly are you about to drag me into again? People nearby pretended not to stare, but witnesses say the tension was impossible to ignore. Kirk stepped closer, lowering his voice as the wind whipped around them. I told her something happened between us that she never knew about. Jasmine's eyes widened. Kirk, no, tell me you didn't. His silence was the answer. Sources say Jasmine felt her knees weaken. Whatever Kirk had confessed, it wasn't small. It wasn't casual. It wasn't fixable. This was something he had hidden for years, and now, with no warning, he had exposed it to Rashida. Jasmine whispered, why would you do that now? Why would you throw a bomb like that into her life? Into mine? Kirk grabbed the back of his neck, frustrated. Because I'm tired, Jasmine. I'm tired of running from the truth. I'm tired of acting like none of it mattered. And that's when Jasmine realized the real problem. Kirk wasn't there to fix things. He wasn't there to apologize. He wasn't even there for closure. He was there because he was breaking, spiraling, and he needed someone to hold the truth with him. But Jasmine wasn't that person anymore. She told him clearly, you don't get to show up and ruin my peace. Not again. Not after everything I survived. But Kirk didn't back down. One witness claims they heard him say, Rashida deserves the truth, but so do you. Jasmine shook her head violently. No, Kirk, not like this. She turned to walk away, but Kirk followed, raising his voice slightly. You can run all you want, but this isn't going away. She already knows. She already reacted. That made Jasmine stop cold. She turned slowly, her eyes narrowing. Reacted how? Kirk swallowed hard. She broke down. Jasmine stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper. What do you mean, broke down, Kirk? He looked away, blinking quickly as if replaying Rashida's meltdown in his head. She cried. She screamed. She said she felt betrayed by both of us. I left the house because I couldn't look at her. Jasmine felt her world tilt. Kirk, what did you tell her? Kirk opened his mouth to speak, and that is the exact moment Jasmine's phone buzzed violently in her hand, lighting up with Rashida's name. The moment Jasmine saw Rashida's name flash across her screen, everything inside her froze. She didn't breathe, didn't blink, didn't move. The ocean roared behind her like it knew this call could change everything. Kirk stared at the phone too, his jaw tightening, his eyes filled with a panic he couldn't hide. Jasmine whispered, Kirk, why is she calling me? But he said nothing. He just swallowed hard, as if the answer itself was too heavy to speak. The phone kept vibrating. Jasmine could feel her pulse matching the rhythm. She didn't want to answer. She didn't want to hear the pain in Rashida's voice. She didn't want to be dragged back into a triangle she had tried so desperately to escape. But ignoring the call felt worse, like choosing silence over truth. So she slid her finger across the screen. Hello? Jasmine whispered. For a moment, there was nothing. Pure silence. Just breathing, shaky, uneven, broken breathing. Jasmine recognized it instantly. It wasn't anger. It wasn't rage. It was pain. Deep, bone-deep pain. Rashida finally spoke, her voice raw. Jasmine, is he there with you? Jasmine closed her eyes. Kirk took a step back, running his hand over his face. Jasmine forced herself to answer. Yes. He showed up here, I swear I didn't know he was coming. Rashida let out a sound, part laugh, part cry, the kind of sound someone makes when they've reached their emotional limit. Of course he did, she said. Of course he went running after you, Kirk whispered. Rashida, baby, please, but she cut him off instantly. Don't call me that right now. I can't even look at you, let alone hear you call me anything loving. Jasmine bit her lip, feeling guilt claw at her chest even though she hadn't done anything this time. She felt trapped between two collapsing worlds. Rashida continued, her voice shaking. I need to ask both of you something. And I want the truth. No lies, no filters, no protecting feelings, just the truth. Jasmine glanced at Kirk. He nodded slowly, like he knew this moment was inevitable. Rashida inhaled sharply. Kirk told me about the night I didn't know about. The night he said changed everything. I need to know if it's true. Did that really happen? Jasmine's heart dropped. Her throat tightened. She whispered, Rashida, I don't know what Kirk told you. Rashida's tone cracked wide open. He said you two almost got married, Jasmine gasped. Kirk froze. The entire beach felt like it stopped moving. Jasmine whispered, what? Kirk, what did you say to her? What did you tell her? Kirk stepped forward, reaching for the phone like he wanted to grab the conversation out of Jasmine's hands. Rashida, I didn't say we almost got married. I said, but Rashida cut him off again, louder this time. Don't lie, don't twist it. You told me there was a night, years ago, before everything blew up, where you and Jasmine had a conversation about running away together. You said Jasmine was the one who pulled back. Is that true or not? Jasmine felt her eyes sting. She turned away, staring at the crashing waves. She whispered, that was never supposed to be part of her life. That moment was stupid, emotional, nothing happened. Rashida's breath hitched. So it is true. Jasmine closed her eyes and let the truth fall out. It was after a huge fight you two had. Kirk showed up at my apartment, drunk and upset, saying he was tired of the arguments and tired of feeling unwanted. He said he wanted to disappear. He said we could start fresh somewhere else. But I told him no. I told him that wasn't real. That wasn't love. That wasn't fair to you. Rashida didn't answer right away. The silence felt like a storm hovering right above the three of them. Finally, Rashida whispered, so I was the only one who didn't know that my husband tried to leave with another woman. Jasmine shook her head desperately. Rashida, he didn't mean it. He wasn't thinking. He was hurting. I shut it down immediately, Kirk added. She did. She told me I was being reckless. She told me to go home. She didn't even let me stay the night, but Rashida wasn't soothed. Her voice broke. It doesn't matter. He still said it. He still wanted it. Jasmine could hear her crying now, soft, shaky cries, the ones someone makes when they're trying to stay strong but can't anymore. Then Rashida said something that stunned Jasmine to her core. I'm not mad at you, Jasmine. I'm mad at myself. Jasmine blinked. What? Why? Rashida let out a long, trembling breath. Because I spent years blaming you for everything. Years calling you the problem. Years convincing myself you were the one who destroyed my marriage. When the truth is, Kirk was already breaking it long before you ever came into the picture. Kirk stepped closer to the phone, desperate. Rashida, please, that's not true, but she wasn't done. You followed her to another state, Kirk. You told me you needed space. And instead of healing your marriage, you chased the woman you once asked to run away with you. Jasmine could hear the devastation in every word. Rashida whispered, do you know what that does to a woman's spirit? Kirk's voice cracked. I wasn't chasing her for that. I was coming to fix things. Jasmine snapped, losing her patience. Fix things? Kirk, you don't fix things by dragging people back into trauma. You don't fix things by confessing to your wife in the worst way possible and then showing up here uninvited. Kirk turned toward her, wounded. I didn't have a choice. Jasmine's voice rose, raw. You always have a choice. You chose to lie. You chose to hurt her. You chose to involve me again. Several beachgoers looked over, sensing the argument intensify. The wind carried their voices farther than they realized. Rashida softly said, I feel like I'm watching two ghosts talk about a life I never even knew happened. Those words hit both of them hard. Jasmine whispered, Rashida, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. Rashida cleared her throat. I don't hate you. I don't know if I ever really hated you. I hated what Kirk did. I hated what he made both of us feel like. I hated the mess. Jasmine felt her chest tighten. I never wanted to take anything from you. Not your marriage, not your peace, nothing. Rashida exhaled shakily. Then answer me this, why did he think he could run away with you? What made him feel safe enough to even say it? Jasmine looked directly at Kirk. She didn't speak for several seconds. Then she finally said what she had buried for years. Because he thought I loved him. Kirk closed his eyes, like the truth physically hurt. Rashida gasped softly. Jasmine continued, voice trembling. I cared about him once. More than I should have. More than I was proud of. And he knew it. He used it. He leaned on it. He confused it. He thought it meant something bigger than it was. Kirk whispered, it wasn't just you. I cared too. Rashida let out a choked laugh. Wow, I can't believe I'm hearing this. Jasmine wiped her eyes. But that was years ago. I let it go. I grew up. I moved on. He's the one who kept dragging it around like a secret he couldn't bury. Kirk took a step toward her. I came here because I needed to close that chapter. I needed Jasmine to know the truth. I needed us all to stop pretending. Rashida asked quietly, and what truth is that? Kirk hesitated, then spoke the words that shattered the last bit of peace between all three. I never stopped having feelings for Jasmine. Jasmine staggered back. Kirk, no. Rashida let out a sound like she'd been punched in the chest. And the call dropped. Jasmine stared at her screen, trembling. Kirk whispered, Rashida? Rashida? But there was nothing. Just silence. Then Jasmine looked at Kirk, and said the one line that would define everything that happened next. You didn't come here for closure. You came here because you're still in love with chaos. Kirk froze when Jasmine said those words. The ocean wind whipped between them, carrying her voice like a blade slicing through the humid air. His mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. It was the first time someone had said it to his face, the thing everyone whispered, the thing he avoided, the truth he didn't want to acknowledge. Jasmine took a shaky breath, turning away from him as if the sight of him alone made her chest tighten. Jasmine, that's not fair, Kirk finally muttered, his voice cracking at the edges. She spun around. Not fair? Do you even hear yourself anymore? You show up on MY vacation, you confess feelings you should have buried years ago, you break your wife's heart again, and you think I'm being unfair? Kirk ran both hands over his head, pacing like a man unraveling from the inside. I'm not in love with chaos, he insisted, though his voice sounded desperate, unsure, almost pleading. I'm trying to fix everything before it gets worse. Jasmine let out a humorless laugh. Kirk, you are the worst. He stopped pacing immediately. The sting of those words hit him harder than the waves behind them. Jasmine didn't soften, didn't pull back, she stood firm, staring at him with the kind of clarity she wished she'd had years ago. You don't fix things, Kirk. You set fires and call the ashes a lesson. Kirk looked away, his breathing uneven. For the first time since arriving, he looked genuinely lost, not angry, not manipulative, not dramatic, just lost. But Jasmine had no room left in her heart for sympathy. Her phone buzzed again. Both of them looked down. This time, it wasn't a call. It was a message from a mutual friend, a screenshot of Rashida's latest post. Jasmine's blood ran cold. On Rashida's Instagram story, shaky words were typed over a blurry photo of her living room floor. It read, I can't believe this is my life again. I need space. I need truth. I need peace. Underneath it, a second message, don't ask me to be strong tonight. Jasmine covered her mouth with her hand, her heart cracking. Oh my god, she's spiraling because of this. Kirk stepped closer. Let me see. Jasmine yanked the phone back. No, you've done enough. You're not calling her. You're not texting her. You're not showing up at home. Not right now. Kirk clenched his jaw. I can't just leave her like that. Jasmine narrowed her eyes. But you could leave her to fly here? You could leave her to cry alone? You could leave her to deal with a bomb you dropped on her chest without warning? Kirk didn't answer. Because he knew she was right. The truth hung between them like a heavy fog neither of them could walk through. Jasmine looked out at the water again, trying to steady her breathing. A couple walking by glanced over, clearly sensing the tension. Jasmine didn't care. Her entire life felt like it was boiling over again. You shouldn't have come here, she whispered. Kirk stepped closer, lowering his voice. I came because I needed to explain. I came because I owed you both the truth. Jasmine shook her head slowly. The truth isn't what you owe. Accountability is. That word hit him like a slap. She continued, her voice trembling but steady. Accountability means you stay home and face your wife. Accountability means you fix the damage you created. You don't run to the person you hurt with to hide from the consequences. Kirk's eyes glistened. I wasn't hiding. You were, she said softly. You still are. He looked away, blinking back the emotion rising in him. You don't understand what it feels like, Jasmine. She stepped back, stunned. No, you don't understand what it feels like to be the earthquake that keeps shattering the same two people over and over again. That shut him down completely. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The beach around them carried the laughter of families, the chatter of tourists, the crash of waves, but between them, it was absolute silence. Finally, Kirk whispered, I thought coming here would fix things. Jasmine stared at him, eyes wide with disbelief. Kirk, showing up without permission is not fixing things. Dropping emotional bombs is not fixing things. Confessing feelings you shouldn't even have anymore is not fixing things. He stepped closer, his voice low. I just wanted to be honest. Jasmine looked him straight in the eyes. Honesty without responsibility is just cruelty. Kirk flinched. Just then, a resort employee approached them cautiously. Excuse me, is everything okay here? We've had a few guests mention raised voices. Jasmine swallowed hard. I'm fine. He was just leaving. Kirk looked at her sharply. I'm not leaving. Jasmine didn't break eye contact with the employee. Yes, he is. The employee glanced between them, unsure how to proceed. Kirk realized he was drawing attention, something he definitely did not want. With a frustrated sigh, he stepped back. Fine, I'll go, he muttered. But we're not done. Jasmine shook her head. We were done years ago. You're just realizing it today. Kirk turned and walked away, his shoulders tense, his steps uneven. Jasmine watched him go, feeling a strange mix of relief and devastation. She didn't want to cry. Not again, not for him, not for this. But the tears welled anyway, blurring the palm trees and ocean horizon into a smeared painting of heartbreak. After a long moment, she sank into the sand, pulling her knees to her chest. Her phone buzzed again, another message. Her hands shook as she tapped it open. It was from Rashida. Just 2 words. Please talk. Jasmine's breath hitched. She didn't know if she was strong enough for this conversation. She didn't know if she had anything left to give. But she also knew Rashida was hurting more than either of them. Before she could respond, another message came through. I'm not calling to fight. Jasmine wiped her face, whispering to herself, God, what does she want from me? But deep down, she already knew. Rashida didn't want answers. She wanted truth, real truth, the kind Jasmine had never said out loud. She pressed the call button before she could talk herself out of it. Rashida answered instantly, her voice shaky. Jasmine? Jasmine exhaled. I'm here. Rashida sniffed. Kirk came home. He's packing a bag. Jasmine's stomach dropped. What? Why? Rashida whispered, because I told him to leave. Jasmine closed her eyes. Rashida? Oh God, Rashida's voice cracked. I didn't call to blame you. I didn't call to scream. I called because I need clarity. I need to understand the part of my life I've never had access to. Jasmine licked her lips nervously. Okay, ask me anything. Rashida hesitated. Then, did you love him? The question hit Jasmine like a physical blow. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Her voice finally came out small. Yes, once. But it was a different Jasmine. A broken Jasmine. A version of me that didn't know how to love myself. Rashida sniffed. Did he love you? Jasmine glanced toward the direction Kirk had walked. She swallowed hard. I think he loved the attention. The escape. The validation. Not me. Rashida whispered, thank you for saying that. Jasmine felt her throat tighten. I'm not your enemy, Rashida. Rashida let out a long breath, one filled with years of pain. Then help me understand one more thing. Okay, why did he run to you now? After everything? Jasmine bit her lip, tears filling her eyes again. Because you stopped carrying his guilt for him. And he needed someone else to hold it. Rashida gasped softly, like she'd just heard the final puzzle piece click into place. Then she whispered the line that changed everything. Jasmine. I don't think Kirk came to you for closure. I think he came because he's afraid to lose control. Jasmine froze. Because deep down, she knew it was true. And if that was true, then Kirk wasn't done. Not with her. Not with Rashida. Not with any of this. Jasmine sat there on the beach, phone pressed to her ear, feeling like her entire past was suddenly replaying itself in real time. Rashida's words echoed in her mind. I don't think Kirk came to you for closure. I think he came because he's afraid to lose control. It was the kind of sentence that didn't just describe a moment, it described a man's entire pattern. The same pattern that had trapped both of them in years of confusion, half-truths, and emotional bruises. Jasmine swallowed hard. So what are you going to do? She asked quietly. On the other end, Rashida sniffed, trying to steady herself. Right now? I don't even know how to breathe, let alone make a decision about my marriage. There was a long pause. The ocean waves filled the silence between them. Finally, Rashida spoke again, her voice softer. He walked out the house like a stranger, Jasmine. Suitcase in his hand, no eye contact, no apology. Just shame. And for the first time, I didn't chase him. I didn't ask where he was going. I just let him leave. Jasmine closed her eyes. She could picture it. Rashida standing in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself, watching the man she'd built a life with walk away like a storm she was too tired to stand in. You didn't deserve that, Jasmine whispered. Rashida let out a bitter laugh. Yeah, well, I didn't deserve a lot of things, but here we are. Jasmine stayed quiet, letting her talk. When he told me about that night, Rashida continued, about how he thought he could just run away with you, I felt stupid. Like I'd been living in the edited version of my own life while y'all had access to the director's cut. Jasmine winced. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't romantic. It was ugly and messy and confusing. I was not his escape, Rashida. I was his distraction. There's a difference. Rashida took that in. So why did you stay? Why did you stay in the picture back then? Jasmine stared at the sea, the memory heavy in her chest. Because I didn't know my worth. Because I confused attention with love. Because when you grow up craving validation, even the wrong kind feels like oxygen. Rashida's voice softened. And now? Now? Jasmine repeated. Now I'm just tired. Tired of being the storyline. Tired of being the scandal. Tired of carrying his decisions on my back. I didn't ask for this vacation drama. I didn't invite it. He followed me into peace and turned it into chaos. There was another pause. Then Rashida said something that caught Jasmine completely off guard. Can I ask you for something? Jasmine hesitated. Depends on what it is. Rashida inhaled shakily. I want you to stop protecting him. Jasmine blinked. What? You heard me, Rashida said, a new firmness in her voice. I think you've been protecting him for years. By staying quiet. By letting people think you were the only villain. By taking the heat so he could keep playing both sides. Jasmine felt her throat tighten. I wasn't protecting him. I was trying to move on. You were doing both, Rashida replied gently. You moving on helped him. It helped him rewrite the story in public. Oh, that was just a mistake. It's over now. Everything's fine. But clearly, it wasn't. The truth stung because it was too accurate. Jasmine didn't respond right away. She couldn't. The guilt, the shame, the exhaustion, it all sat heavy inside her chest. Finally, Rashida continued. I'm not asking you to go on TV. I'm not asking you to drag him online. I'm asking you to be honest with me. Really honest. No filters. No saving his image. I need to know what I've actually been living in. Jasmine exhaled slowly. That's a lot to ask. I know, Rashida whispered. But I'm asking anyway. Jasmine wiped a tear from her cheek and nodded to herself. Okay, then if we're doing this, we shouldn't do it over the phone. Rashida went silent. Jasmine's heart started racing before she even said it. We should talk in person. The air changed. Even through the phone, Jasmine could feel it, the weight of what she'd just suggested. In person? Rashida repeated, sounding both shocked and terrified. Yeah, Jasmine said quietly. No cameras, no producers, no friends, no Kirk, just you and me, somewhere neutral, somewhere quiet, somewhere we can actually breathe. Rashida hesitated. You'd do that? I owe you that, Jasmine replied. On the other end, Rashida started crying again, but this time it sounded different. Less like collapse, more like release. You know how many nights I imagined cursing you out? She admitted. How many arguments I rehearsed in my head. And now I just don't want to fight anymore. I just want answers. Then let's give you some, Jasmine said softly. Where are you staying? Rashida asked. At the Coral Palms Resort, Jasmine answered. Room 504. There was a beat of silence. Then Rashida said, send me the address. Jasmine's eyes widened. Wait, you mean? Yeah, Rashida replied, voice trembling but determined. I'm coming. Jasmine's stomach flipped. Rashida, that's a big move. You don't have to. I do, Rashida cut in. Because if I stay in this house one more night, staring at his empty side of the bed, wondering which version of my life is real, I'm going to lose my mind. I need to look you in the eye and understand what really happened between the three of us. Jasmine's hands shook. Okay, I'll text you the details. They hung up with a promise. No cameras. No leaks. No drama. But the universe and social media had other plans. As soon as Jasmine sent the location to Rashida, her phone lit up with new notifications. Fan pages, gossip blogs, and accounts were already in full motion. Somehow, word had spread that Kirk had been spotted arguing with a mystery woman at the beach. Photos were already circulating. A blurred side shot of Jasmine. The distinct outline of Kirk's posture. People online were zooming in, speculating, arguing. Is that Jasmine? No way he flew out to her again. Rashida deserves better, I'm sick of this storyline. One fan wrote, if Rashida pulls up to that island too, VH1 better be rolling cameras. Jasmine's heart pounded as she scrolled. They're already watching us, she muttered to herself. What neither she nor Rashida realized yet was that someone had already snapped a photo of Jasmine on the phone at the beach, eyes red, expression broken, and posted it with the caption, Jasmine seen crying on vacation after heated moment with Kirk Frost. Rashida nowhere in sight. Eyes, the story spread like wildfire. Within hours, hashtags started trending. Hashtag vacation shocker, hashtag Kirk Jasmine, hashtag pray for Rashida. Even people who hadn't followed the Frost drama in years were suddenly dragged back into the chaos. Fans were shocked. Emotions ran high. The fanbase was divided all over again. Meanwhile, back in Atlanta, Kirk stood in the doorway of his own bedroom, staring at the half-packed suitcase on the bed. His hands hovered over the zipper, shaking. He didn't actually want to leave. He wanted someone to tell him what to do, what to say, how to fix what felt permanently broken. But nobody was coming to save him this time. His phone buzzed. It was a notification from a gossip blog. He tapped it open, and froze when he saw his own blurred figure next to Jasmine on the beach. Caption. So this is where Kirk said he needed space from home for. His stomach dropped. Damn, he muttered, pacing. Damn, damn, damn. He pulled up Instagram. His heart hammered when he saw Rashida's stories still up. The ones about needing truth, needing peace, not wanting to be strong tonight. Thousands of comments flooded them, fans sending hearts, prayers, outrage. You don't deserve this, queen, leave him, not again, Kirk. SMH. And then there were the ones dragging Jasmine too. She always pops back up when they good. If this is Jasmine again, I'm done. Kirk threw his phone on the bed, guilt clawing at his chest. This is getting out of control, he whispered to himself. He didn't know that it already was. Because at that exact moment, another message popped up in Rashida's DM, from a burner account, anonymous but with a chilling sentence. If you're going where I think you're going, camera's already there. Rashida stared at the message, her hand frozen above her suitcase. She'd already thrown a few clothes inside, grabbed her passport even though she wasn't entirely sure she needed it, and shoved some makeup into a bag. The house was quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that echoed. She read the message again. Camera's already there. I can't live like this, she whispered to herself. Everywhere she turned, her life felt like a show. She could already hear people in the comments. Rashida chasing Jasmine across the map. Mona better be rolling. Ain't no way this ain't a storyline. But this wasn't a storyline. This was her heart. She grabbed her phone and called Jasmine back. Hey, Jasmine answered, tension immediately flooding her voice. You still coming? Yeah, Rashida said. But I need to ask you something first. Okay, Rashida inhaled slowly. If we do this, if I come there, you have to promise me something. What? That whatever we say to each other, Rashida whispered, stays between us. No producers, no bloggers, no friends, nobody gets the raw version but us. Jasmine didn't hesitate. I promise. Rashida swallowed hard. Because I'm not doing this for a show. I'm doing this for my sanity. I get it, Jasmine said softly. I'm not doing this for views either. I'm doing it because I don't want to be your shadow enemy for the rest of my life. The honesty in that line made Rashida's eyes fill with tears. Okay, she said, I'm booking my flight. Jasmine's heart flipped again. Text me when you land. I'll meet you in the lobby. No Kirk, just us. No Kirk, Rashida agreed. But what neither of them knew was that Kirk had already gone into full panic mode. After seeing the beach photos, after reading the comments, after feeling the walls closing in, he did what he always did best. He made another impulsive decision. And this time, it involved following someone else's location. Because while Jasmine and Rashida thought they had set the terms for this confrontation, Kirk had no intention of being shut out of the next chapter. Not when the truth was finally catching up to him. Not when his control was slipping through his fingers. Not when, for the first time in a long time, both of the women whose lives he'd tangled, were about to stand face to face without him there to spin the story. And if there was one thing Kirk Frost had never learned to handle, it was being written out of his own narrative. And that's where everything stands tonight, with 3 lives colliding on a vacation that was never supposed to turn into a battlefield. Fans are stunned, emotions are spiraling, and the truth is unraveling faster than anyone expected. But now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments what you think happens next. Does Rashida finally walk away? Does Jasmine protect her peace? Does Kirk lose the control he chased for years? Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter of this unfolding storm. Your voice decides where this story goes next.